This girl is not even a ninth grader yet. She's an eighth grader going into ninth grade. Her first year as the horseman, the person taking care of the horse and riding the horse, falls off. She's making that long dreaded walk of shame back, and the horse won't come in. The horse won't come in. So the horse is out there running around, and Matt Johnson, the coach, manager at the time, is like, is this count as the longest home run celebration in history? And ESPN actually uses...
From the third base coach's box, by the way.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we have him mic'd up live. And
so you're telling me that right now on UClick TV has been featured on ESPN, so therefore I've been featured on ESPN because I'm on UClick TV.
Yeah, it's true.
Like in that 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing or whatever, right? I mean, isn't that what he's saying?
But this video,
we're all on ESPN right now.
Now you got to wear the mouse ears.
Remember the year the squirrel got used to loose at the College World Series?
I don't.
No, that made ESPN. We replaced the squirrel, and then some other crazy animal replaced us.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, we actually. I mean, it was the coolest thing.
That's awesome.
The girl falls off the horse, wanders around, and they use it for a.
But she was okay, right?
It's like a not top 10 or something.
This was better than that. It was Sunday Fun Day. They used it once in a segment for, it was a Belmont or the Preakness, I can't remember. They said, what a perfect segue into the Belmont, and they showed this, I mean, it was really, really, I mean, it was one of those moments you'll never have again.
Fantastic. So,
pretty cool.
Going into this year's Mink League, you guys just got done with your meetings and everything to get everything set. When does the season actually kick off for you guys?
Our league season starts on May the 29th.
Okay.
And will be concluded by the last weekend in July.
Okay.
Knowing college baseball the way it is now, the players prefer to have a little bit of buffer there. They'll start school as college kids somewhere in mid-August, early September. Mm-hmm. They'll show up and start playing fall ball. In most cases, it's either just now getting done or been done a little while. So they have this time from about now till they get back right after Christmas, and then they hit it back playing when they get back to school. Games start in the spring for college baseball around February 1st. Mm-hmm. It's cold in the Midwest in February 1st.
It's pretty cold.
And they still want to play. So they start February 1st. They'll end up somewhere around the 1st of May, depending on what level they're playing and how deep they go into their season with the playoffs. Could go into mid to late May, get their ticket, fly into Kansas City or wherever, and end up in Clarinda, Iowa, and continue playing. They'll play to the end of July. Well, they miss mom and dad. They miss their girlfriends. They miss cruising the boulevard back home.
Absolutely.
So we've kind of arranged it that they've got 2-3 weeks that they don't have to be here and play. There are some leagues up north, not to mention Leagues Northwoods, that will play right up to the 1st of September. And those kids are not happy. They want to break too. I mean, be realistic. These are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. And, I'm a long ways from that, but you're awful lot closer. They still want to have fun. So, I mean,
I'm only 22, so
I'm
right there.
You were just with Betty Lou cruising the boulevard last summer.
One lie of the day. It's one.
That was it.
So that's how we gear our league is to we play it hard for 2 months. We have a few built-in rain dates in there. We have an all-star game, which this year will be held in Chillicothe on Thursday, July the 9th. We'll have a home run derby prior to the game, and then we play an all-star game. We have 2 divisions, the North and the South. They'll play each other, have a great day of Mink League baseball. We have some scouts that show up, watch the players, see what's going on, and we have a fun time getting together in mid-year. So then we have the playoffs come the end of the year. Right now we'll have 6 teams that make the playoffs. The way we've changed it up this year is the 2 division winners will be the 1-2 seeds, and then the next 4 best records will be 3 through 6.
Okay.
So we play basically within a matter of about 5 days. 3 and 6 play. The winner of that play number 2 or 1,
yeah,
and then the last 2 teams play best of 3 at the end of the year. So
I've got Whittle right here. I got Whittle the horse. You want to see this segment? You guys want to see
Yeah,
this?
let's throw it on there.
Basically ESPN now.
Oh yeah, right now I'm on ESPN.
Gary, you got to practice
This is
commentating
Gary.
on this thing.
This is Gary from
See, put the
ESPN.
little circle on?
See, there's
Hey,
the
you're
horse.
like-
Oh, she fell off.
Oh.
Oh no. The horse is just running around crazy. The players are trying to direct the horse back to the locker room area. I don't know what you call it, locker room area for a horse.
the horse's pin.
Gary,
You know.
you're
I
out.
failed.
You're out. Yeah, you failed on
fired.
that.
Man, my kid
Whoa, no.
behind the horse at first.
Yeah.
You got to realize
Look at
some
these
of
guys.
these
Look at
some
these
of
guys
these
just
kids
standing
are
there
city
watching.
boys from California. They've never seen a horse, no less one running loose in the outfield.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
Ron, the one kid out in right field was scared to. I forgot about that. I think it was from Sedalia or somewhere. He was scared to death of that horse. It
A
was
Sedalia
Yeah.
boy was scared.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah, you shouldn't be scared of a horse.
Well, not,
What's that?
if he was from Sedalia, but he's
Yeah, true.
But you can see right there.
Where'd he go? He jumped
Yeah,
over
you
the wall.
you click TV right there on ESPN. So
Dang.
therefore, leave it on ESPN.
No, the horse made
Oh,
us
that's how
famous.
Jim got that Rolex because he sold this clipboard at ESPN. I knew it.
Man, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny right there. And now it's back on us. So,
But
maybe
we do have some very special ballparks we play in. Liberty Park in Sedalia is
It's the chicken coop. It's
I
the
was
chicken
getting there.
coop.
I believe it was a
I say it's a bunch
WPA
of chickens.
project park at one time, and as
cool.
he states, it's affectionately called the chicken coop. It has chicken wire basically all on the front, and there are actually some birds that live inside it at times. And so, you get inside it, and there's birds flying around. The park in Chanute is using is a WPA park, the old stone facade type deal. The St. Joe was probably a WPA project.
Yeah.
It's been
It's been there since
renovated,
well,
modernized.
How many famous players have played at the one at St. Joe? I mean, all the
Mickey
Negro League
Mantle,
guys. I mean,
Ernie Banks, did he play there at one time?
yeah. a lot of them.
Yeah.
that is awesome.
And as he said about Clarinda, I'm not. Even though I come from Western Kansas, I'm not a big corn farmer, but they plant the corn in right field. There's a field out there that they swap every year because you can only grow corn on the land every other year to neutralize the land. And it gets late in the year. Behind you is the county fairgrounds. So you get all the little farm animals talking to you, the sheep and the horses and the cows. And then you look beyond right field and that corn's popping up about a foot tall over right field fence. It's like stepping back in time in, Field of Dreams or something
Oh,
like
man,
that.
that's
It's-
cool.
See, I'm a city guy, so I don't know how I feel about being out in
Really?
the middle of the corn.
It'd
Really?
be a blast. It's a blast.
You're a city guy.
But you love
I'm a city
Iowa.
guy.
You know,
You love Iowa.
What?
He
Or no,
loves
Iowa
his
State.
house. I mean, the apartment he lived in Iowa was in the middle of a field of corn. So I don't know what he's talking about.
It was not.
Hey,
it was not
he tried to
beautiful.
eat the corn one
Corn,
night
or
and
is it
figured
corn?
out
I
it
don't
wasn't
know.
edible
No,
corn.
it was right across the street from a Casey's Pizza, or Casey's gas station. So
That makes sense too.
a young Gary Carl had Casey's Pizza for dinner probably 3 nights a week.
I
being
believe
unmarried
that.
and-
it's hard to beat,
yeah, I just walk across the street, Casey's, and maybe a 12-pack of soda, and go back home. Be good for the night.
Ron, what's your favorite Mink League moment? Your favorite that you remember, the one that, other than your drunken sailor moment.
I had never, up to a point, had a no-hitter behind the plate. And as an umpire, that's kind of an ultimate thing. And I was privileged enough to have home plate in a championship game at St. Joe with all their crazy fans. And the way their scoreboard works, or the way they worked it at the time, until a team had got a hit, they left the number blank. They didn't put a 0 up. They left it blank. And about the 6th or 7th inning of the championship game, some of us were realizing what was going on. And it finished as a no-hitter. And my first no-hitter, even from Little League all the way up, which was exciting for me. But even as we walked off the field at the time, probably 3/4 of the fans had no idea that this kid on the mound had just thrown a no-hitter to win the championship in St. Joe. And so that's probably one of my most exciting times on the field. So
You know, and I'm not going to say this because I like St. Joe more than Sedalia or Sedalia more than Chillicothe or whoever, but one of the best times in the Mink League is July 4th. It's big. I mean, Sedalia wants to come to St. Joe. They want to come to St. Joe. Fireworks, really great. By the end of the night, there's so many fireworks being shot off in the city limits. By the end of the night, if there was a home run, we couldn't tell when out of the ballpark. I mean, what was that, 4 or 5 years ago? That was a really dramatic. Were you there that night? And St. Joe came back that night, didn't they?
There is more fireworks shot outside the stadium on the 4th of July than in it.
You can't see the outfield wall.
And this was a cooler 4th of July, so the smoke, what do they call it, inversion or whatever, where the smoke was coming back into the stadium and settled in, and it was actually below the light standards. The lights were in the smoke. And we lost the ball till you actually saw it come out of the clouds and clear the fins. So now to elaborate,
Judd doesn't like that game.
To elaborate though, you back that up because Sedalia does that normally on a 2-night deal. Clarinda holds their 4th of July on July the 3rd. There is a little town about 5 miles, and I mean, if Clarinda's 5,500 and I say it's a little town, it's a little town. There's 2 streets in this town. It's about 10 miles, 5 miles east of Clarinda. They do their 4th of July up on the 4th of July. They throw everything into this. They have a parade, goes up one street, comes down the other, tractor pull, the whole ball of wax. Well, Clarinda realized at one time there's no way they're going to match, fireworks or fireworks with this little town over here because everybody in all Southwest Iowa is there. Every tractor, every animal, everything. It's in that town. So they do their 4th of July on July the 3rd. And I don't know how many years in a row I've worked up there. Same way. I mean, they are packed everywhere waiting on the 4th of July. The grandstands are packed. They're sitting in cars. It's actually close to a little park, too. Everybody's just everywhere in Clarinda. They all come into Clarinda on the 3rd. And then Sedalia goes up there, and then they go to St. Joe on the 4th, back it up for a two-game deal where they get double the 4th of July fireworks. But it is a neat place to go to both of them back-to-back. So.
Well, and I'll tell you, Ron is blessed to be able to do what he does every summer, whether it's through umpiring or the commissioner of the Mink League. But he's even more blessed to have the wife at home that travels. She doesn't miss it. I mean, she's maybe missed 2 games in 3 years or something. Yeah. I mean,
she wants to make sure I make it home all right, and there's one day she missed, and I'm not sure.
But you've got to realize, probably 50% to 60% of the players that go on to the majors go through college wood bat leagues, and without these leagues, is baseball at the majors what it is? I don't know. I mean, I think it creates that atmosphere for the majors. It
creates opportunities for guys to compete and keep playing when they can't play with their college team because of the NCAA rules. So it gives kids another opportunity to go play baseball and guys that really love it and want to get better. So, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. We tell our kids, at the high school level, coaching high school football, compete. So it gives those guys another chance to compete at the game they love. And, I mean, by that time, by college, obviously, typically you're either, you're a one-sport guy by the time you've gotten that far. And so it gives those guys a chance.
As I probably have missed and explained in the Mink League, he just kind of threw it in there, is we are a wood bat league. And most of these college players almost all of them play with aluminum in the spring. And whatever they've, made it harder to hit home runs or whatever, it's still not the same as hitting with wood, and it's still not the same listening to that crack of the bat.
Oh, it's
and
funny.
So it teaches them how to hit with wood, because there is a right way and a wrong way, and whether the bats explode or not, break, they're going to have to learn how to do it if they're going to go on to the next level.
And I know the St. Joe Mustangs used, walk-off wood bats last year.
And so did Jeff City Renegades.
Jeff City also. We've had Trevor on the show a couple times, who's part of that company and a big part. And
Johnny
really
at
support what they're doing.
Johnny at St. Joe and Mike at Jeff City. Mike at the meeting spoke up how they probably only broke one bat using his walk-off wood bats.
That's
So,
fantastic.
Were they able to get to the meeting this year? Were they